Alright, welcome to episode 84 of What Is Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we had, I think, 4 conflicts. We had a war in Ireland, where the Irish took over all of Scotland. We had most of the wars in Asia. Had a war in India, where the greenish Spanish Indian colony country thing went to war with the purple one. How they lost due to the purple country being aligned with the Arabic Union. We saw the Koreans invade the northern island of Japan, and the Chinese helped to fund the Sulawesi Indian country in their invasion of the beige one. However, this bluish country, which is a rebellion from Chinese New Guinea, like once colony country, they also intervened, which could cause conflicts between these two countries into the future. With that, we saw an alliance expansion with these guys joining the Diamond Alliance, these guys in the Circle Alliance, so more people in the war. Well, Cold War, I mean. I think every alliance now has 4 members, which is cool. So that's fun. Anything else? Economic alliances. I think we added the red country to this one, so that's fun, I suppose. But there's not that many other alliances that expanded apart from that. Nuclear bombs. There's more of them now. Like even more nukes in the world. With the Arabic Union almost up to 20 nukes, and the Germans and the British on the same. How the Germans are producing them faster. Also, something to talk about with nukes is where is every country testing their nukes? So the British are testing their nuclear bombs not in Birmingham. No, they're testing them in Antarctica down here because this is still official British territory. It's not like in real life where it's like, oh, they kind of own it. It is actual British territory, and they're allowed to test their nukes on Antarctica. The Germans are testing them in the northern islands of Canada because they caused that region to decolonize. So they still have some rights there. The Russians are testing theirs in Siberia, the Arabic Union is testing theirs in the Arabian Desert, and the Chinese are testing theirs like in Tibet or Antarctica or somewhere like that. Anyway, I also had a really cool idea. Like if I ever do a season 2 of this series, I mean that's what this map is up here. Well, that map is me changing the continents just for fun. Because I was thinking, like, if I ever do a season 2, and it's like millions of years into the future, I could change where the continents are and stuff, and it'd be super cool. Like, I could split off this bit of Africa, and then it could go over here, like it's going to in real life. So, that's cool. Anyway, let's get on with the video, shall we? And first off, we need to return to Ireland, because they're going on another conquest. And this time it's going to be against the very, very poor nation of, I don't know, Shetland Islands. So this country, I don't think they have many cities. They've got 2 apparently. The Irish take over the Shetland Islands and then invade up here in the north and take over the Faroe Islands. This war does not take very long. It kind of raises tensions because don't remember that. It kind of raises tensions because it's kind of closer to Norway, but you know it's all right. It still looks separated across the north. What did I do? They're still separated across the North Sea, so it's not too awful. Yeah, what did I do? Anyway, so the Irish have expanded their country a little bit. Not going to add too much, but their country looks cooler now. Anyway, we need to head over to the Arabic Union because today they're going to be doing another pretty huge war, and this time they're going to be invading the nation of Iberia. Spain. What? Why are they invading Spain? Spain's like miles away. No, they're not. Spain is actually over here in the Suez Canal area, and the Arabic Union wants to take over this land and add it to their empire. They feel like they should have received this a long time ago, or it should have at least been independent, so they could have invaded it if it was a country. But now they're going to do just that, and they send their forces in from Israelstein. Sorry, my throat is just destroyed, and it's kind of bad. Yeah, they send the forces in, and they're going to push them around the Sinai Suez area. Well, Suez over here. Sinai area. The blue team was not expecting this war. They're pretty neutral at the moment. So yeah, they didn't think this was going to happen, and they lose quite a few of their cities over in the east. However, they do manage to defend this area, which is the main Suez area. They're going to try and get some forces in. However, they're still at war with like the rest of the Arabic Union, so it's very hard for this country to send its forces into this area, and they start to lose land and just the ability to send forces in to defend this territory. They're going to try and send them through Africa, but that's pretty unpopular with some of the African countries, so they start to lose more and more cities as the Arabic Union gets right onto their border, and eventually they lose both the cities over here in the east and the entire canal, and the war continues for a bit longer. They start like bombing Sicily and stuff. Well, they were probably already doing that, but they do it more, until eventually they decide there's no point continuing, and they give up and surrender to the Arabic Union. This war didn't take too long. It was just kind of like a short conflict, but it was a very important one, as now the Arabic Union has moved into Africa in a second area, and these guys have now lost even more of their sort of neo-colonial territory. Still have Horn Island though, so that's great. They might also win this one, but I feel like that would probably be territory of the Falklands country, so there you go. You can have whatever island this is. Great. Anyway, moving back up north, we can head over to the Iberian country again, because a small change is going to be happening in this country, and that is that they are joining one of the alliances, and of course, it's going to be the alliance of, well, I'm just going to draw it myself. Yeah, they're going to be joining an alliance. They're kind of afraid they don't like the Arabic Union now, because they stole territory that was rightfully theirs. And for that reason, they're joining the Russian, I did the wrong layer. Of course I did. The Russian Square Team Alliance. So there we go. They're going to be siding with the Italians and the Irish, and this just makes everything so much worse for the French. Like, really, really awful, because they are surrounded by the Irish, Spanish, and Italians. All three of these guys are on the border, effectively. Ireland's pretty close. But then they also have the Germans right over here on their border. So it's just like, this is awful. But it gets even worse, because another country is now very afraid of the Arabic Union and what they could be doing in Africa, and also the existence of Spain up here. And that country is none other than Carthage. So Carthage is going to be joining their own alliance, and it's going to be the one that the Germans are in. It is the Diamond Alliance. So they are one of the strongest countries in the world. I don't think power rankings really changed too much over the past few episodes. If we look, see it's Arabic Union, Russia, Germany, China, Britain, Carthage, Blue Spain, France, Norway, and Indochina. So yeah, they haven't really changed at all. But their alliance with the Germans is pretty interesting, because they both have the Italians in between them. So that's pretty bad. But they also have some strategic positions for fighting the Spanish and also the Arabic Union, especially if the Arabic Union continues to expand across northern Africa, which they might. So that's interesting. And they're also like a reasonably powerful country. You know, number 6 in the world is pretty strong, and they could potentially overtake the English in the future, which is have to see. So yeah, the Cold War intensifies and gets even scarier for the world. So really, in that exchange, like, all alliances won. You know, the Russians and the Chinese got a new ally, and the Arabic Union gained like the most important canal. So it's all good, unless you're France, in which is just pretty bad. So there we go. Anyway, where do you want to go next? There's like a lot of places we can go in the world, and I didn't think about where I'm going to go next. In fact, I had somewhere I was going to go next, and then I completely forgot. But I remembered one place we can go, so let's do that instead. Let's go down here to, not this place. Okay, guys, I forgot what I was doing. No, don't worry, we'll go over here to West Africa then. Because the Ghanaian country over here, this green one, it's a pretty historic country. They're going to be invading another nation, and that nation is, of course, the Pink Country. Now, the Pink Country kind of like fits into their borders pretty well. They're like wrapped around them, so it might look alright when they're done. But this nation is also very weak. They lose their first major city, which is right on the border, almost immediately, and the Ghanaians just move up across the coast, taking the capital. And from here, they just spread their military out more. They take the coastal areas and then push into the center and completely eradicate the country. In a peace deal, it's pretty predictable. They completely annex the country, turning its capital into a major city. And yeah, Ghana is even more powerful now. Ideologically, this country was a centrist democracy, so that's a shame. They're gone now. And whilst Ghana is a military dictatorship, so that's a shame. Anyway, what else for like ideology? You guys were a centrist democracy, so were the Scottish. Anyone else who's important? Not really. The Russians are a right-wing democracy, and you're still a theocracy. Why? Anyway, and his ideology, in case you're wondering. Hooray. Anyway, I remembered one of the things I was going to do, so that's cool. Because the Germans are now getting quite afraid, and they also want to just, get some more useful territory. So, for that reason, the Germans will be breaking my voice, apparently. Sorry. Yeah, the Germans will be invading another country, and this country is going to be the nation of Alsace. This tiny pink nation. They've been here for a while, and they haven't really done a whole lot. If we look on this layer, you can see they're in like the industrial areas of Luxembourg and France and Germany. They've got the Saarland, I think. Yeah, so they've got some good land for industry, which has definitely helped them a lot. So they're kind of like Luxembourg, but better. And they may be economically similar to the Belgium. I don't know, maybe. But the Germans don't care, and they're going to be invading into the east, taking two major cities, and also just like a full border invasion towards the capital city area, spearheading towards this. However, some people in this country have some friends, and the friends are in France, and they're like, hey, it's kind of like a weird ask, but can you invade and take us over? It's just the ones right over here. The people in this country want the French to invade, but what they don't do is go ask the French government. Instead, they ask a load of French farmers. This area is, there's not a whole lot of cities here. It's fairly agricultural, and they're like, would you guys mind invading our country so you can take us over, and we don't have to be under the Germans? We can be in your country. And they're like, yeah, sure, let's invade. So a load of French farmers and their friends and stuff start an invasion into this province, and they don't declare war because it's not the French government, but they manage to take over the entire thing. So by the time the Germans reach this area, it's already occupied by a load of random French peasants. And because they don't want to start like a major conflict, they're just going to accept that this is what's happened now. It would start a big crisis. There probably was like a minor crisis over this sort of idea and what happened here, but they just kind of have to accept that the French will be annexing this one province. The French in no way supported this, like, because it could have really gone bad. And if they started a world war over some random people over there, that would have been pretty awful. But they didn't, fortunately. And the peace treaty looks something like this. So there we go. France has expanded a little bit, and the Germans expanded a lot, and they look even cooler. All right, we haven't updated nukes yet, and I like doing that, so let's do that, I guess. Is there anything else I need to do before I update nukes? Also, where's the layer? I haven't. Oh, there we go. Nuclear bomb layer. Cool. Alright, first off, to the Germans, they've been testing more nukes in Canada. Probably like. Actually, which islands? I don't know any of those Canadian islands that they colonized. I only know the ones the Norwegians colonized. But they will be creating another. Probably quite a few nukes. Okay. Bring them all the way up to maybe 12. Oh yeah, let's say 12. The British are going to only create another 2 nukes, so they go all the way up to 8. The Russians then go all the way up from 12 to 20, which is a pretty big jump, kind of scary. And the Arabic Union is going to go all the way up from 12, so 17 I mean, all the way up to 28. So yeah, they're kind of far ahead at this point, but the Russians are maybe catching them up. Well, actually, no, they widen the gap, but don't worry. And China's going to go all the way from 7 up to 15. So China and Germany are kind of just developing their nuclear technology, but it's going places. However, we need to actually take a deeper dive into the Arabic Union and what's going on within this country, because although they do have 28 nuclear bombs, they're not all on Arabic Union soil, and that's because we have this brackets, as 5 nuclear bombs are actually outside of their soil, and it's found by the Russians that there are 2 nuclear bombs in France, and in Norway there's another 3 nuclear bombs, and this is regarded as something definitely raising the tensions in the world, as yeah, there are now nukes in other countries that didn't create their own nukes. The Arabic Union actually has 23 nuclear bombs, but even without the other ones in foreign soil, they're still the country with the most nukes in the entire world, and it's going to raise tensions even more as countries start to think like, well, the Russians are like, why don't we put nukes in Iberia? That'll be a really strategic space, or Italy, or Ireland. Well, maybe not Ireland. Pakistan even, that would be kind of scary, wouldn't it? You know? And the Chinese, they could put nukes in, well, Carthage. That would be scary. And all these powers are like, we need to make more nuclear bombs so we can put them in other places and scare people. That's bad. The Arabic Union's just opened up this huge load of stuff that's going to cause loads and loads of turmoil and hatred in the world. But good for them, you know? That was good. Anyway, let's go down to Africa for probably the last event in today's episode, which is the red team down here invading the yellow country. The red country, if you don't remember, actually they look disgusting. I forgot they had an exclave and everything. But the religion map, they are a mostly Carthaginian country. Their capital is in Carthaginian religion territory, but they also have groups of Mesopotamian, Hejaz, and even Indian religion in their country. Whilst the red team down here is a majority, majority Mesopotamian country. So I mean yellow. Yes, the majority Mesopotamian country with areas of Indian, or small areas of Indian, and large territories which are Carthaginian, which is why this war is coming about, and then this exclave is mostly Carthaginian. But either way, this country, the red one, would like to go to war and take over the entire red country to unite the Carthaginian military people down here. So they're going to do that. The yellow country does not have many cities, and a Carthaginian red team military force down here in the south takes this major city, whilst the majority of the army is up here in the north, and they capture this one. The yellow team isn't just going to accept this, however, as their forces push in the south, quickly retaking that territory, and now starting the invasion into the yellow team exclave, red team exclave, turning it yellow. However, they have just lost their capital city, and the red team is getting a lot more funding, especially from a certain Carthage somewhere. So they start to lose even more of their stuff, and it's not too long before a revolt pushes these guys out of this territory, and after that they just lose their entire country. So kind of a quick war, and now the country is going to be fully annexed into the red team as they get a few more cities and a load more Carthaginian people. So that's nice, and they look just even more disgusting down here in the Horn of Africa. Anyway, that's where I'm going to conclude today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. These ones are kind of being more short, but that's alright, The previous ones have been pretty long. The entire World War II era was a pretty long amount of time. So I'm alright with that, and hopefully you are too. If you're not, just comment it, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye. Have a nice rest of your day.